Welcome to New York, the city that never sleeps, the center of the universe, the biggest of the apples. When people all over the world think of New York, it's not lakes, valleys, or Westchesters that come to mind. It's the city, the heart, these 5 boroughs. You got Queens, where the Mets play and where you can get some bomb-ass dumplings for cheap. Brooklyn, where the hipsters emigrate to, a coffee shop paradise. Manhattan, home of the skyscrapers and financial district where all the bread is at. Staten Island, the epicenter of New York's Trump supporters and the last of the mobster regime. And lastly, and most importantly, the Bronx. The brokest and realest and most diverse of us all. We got the Yankees, Coochie Fritos, the Blocks TV, the biggest park, the Silent P. Whoop, whoop, whoop. As a whole, the city is a gorgeous melting pot. Together, we have bounced back from the most horrible terrors. But it's hard to ignore the division that we, the entire country, shit, the entire world is feeling. Which got me thinking, what if we were to hit red alert, bombs drop right now, and NYC turned into a straight Civil War battle scene? I'm talking bridges cut off, no outside resources, straight underground war zone train station type shit. Who will be the last standing? Who would win? The War of the Boroughs. Staten Island's isolation would finally cause its downfall. Who'd unite those gaudy mansions with the Shaolin reppin' Wu-Tang side of the island, especially after this election? The first drop of blood would spill in front of the Just Halal in the Staten Island Mall's food court, leading to the all-city fallout. Those able to escape by ferry are gonna end up in the over-flooded Battery Park City section of Manhattan. So unless you got a boat, you're drowning. Try Jersey, you'll feel right at home there. On to Manhattan. Once the bomb sirens go off, gridlock. Yellow taxi drivers gonna enact their long-awaited revenge against Uber drivers. Secretaries gonna start pushing their bosses out of windows, and all the nannies who live in the outer boroughs will actually hold the babies of Manhattanites hostage until they surrender. A whole city supported by a workforce of travelers and inhibited by the privileged and spoiled will crumble. Finally, the sins of Wall Street paid for. On a side note, East and West Harlem will tear each other apart too. Whatever's left, the gentrifiers will bring further downtown with them. Speaking of gentrifiers, go Brooklyn, go Brooklyn, go Brooklyn. Let's face it, the do the right thing BK days are long gone. Spreading love ain't the Brooklyn way anymore. Artisanal beer tasting, juicing, mustache waxing. That's the Brooklyn way now. And what community is there in a land of people who have already proven they're willing to run away from home? With no loyalty from the transplants and no loyalty from the people whose rent's been raising because of the transplants, Brooklyn gets abandoned. All those empty Airbnbs. So for the first time in years, there will be an influx of people moving out of the borough. Those of y'all hiding in your brownstones holding on for dear life can finally come out again. All it took was a nuclear apocalypse for you to get your neighborhood back. Moving on to, well, 2 feet away, Queens. So much promise, so many languages though. How are you gonna communicate? So many tribes and all these different mind states, and the only thing holding them together is the safe haven of America. Pull back that magic carpet and what we're left with is the entire African diaspora fighting each other over here, same way that it's happening around the rest of the world. A batch of Brooklynites did team up with a few Queeners? Queensies? Queers? Queefs? Queenesses? Whatever. It's because they lived on the same block. That coalition fell apart at the Battle of the Zip Codes. May they never be forgotten. Leaving just the Bronx. A shadow of shit that happened 40 years ago has been hovering over us. So even with the smoke clouds from the bombs, it still looks pretty sunny here. What do you get when you gather a group of people who all feel misread and only identify themselves by the struggles they face on a daily basis? A group of prideful motherfuckers who see everyday life as a war zone. When you never have anything and you think that you may never get anything, you'll take any opportunity, even if it's war. Got no weapons? Then we making them ourselves. You can't imagine the amount of tools Abuela can make out of an iron, a hanger, and a pot. Or how many different variations of rice and beans we can survive off of. That's our attitude, our mentality, that Bronx initiative, making something out of nothing. That's where all this pride comes from. We created hip hop out of a blackout, so what do you think a nuclear meltdown will cause? Garbage trains repurposed into dirty limousines, liquor stores on every block repurposed into booby traps, every high-rise project building with snipers gathered at the top. Bodegas filled with GMO foods that never expired, graffiti hieroglyphics that no one can decode. With all these prisons and precincts, we got enough cells for any intruder. It also doesn't hurt that we are the only borough connected to the mainland. So, in conclusion, in the case of a local nuclear apocalypse, Staten Islanders will drown. Brooklynites will pussy out. Queens will fight themselves to oblivion in Manhattan. Ha, don't make me laugh. We all know that the Bronx is the safest place to be at. So grab your bags and welcome to the Bronx. Didn't you read the New York Times? Actually, what am I saying? Don't come to the Bronx. Like, stay where you're at. Don't. Stay there. Don't come to the Bronx.